Welcome to the Fearlessly Fertile podcast, episode 307. Got some drama because your man has a baby mama? Hey, my loves, I'm so excited to be back with you this week because we are touching on a subject that I don't think we've quite touched on here on the podcast. And I decided, again, as I said in episode 306, we are going to be starting 2025 off in a delightfully nuclear and disruptive way. Because look, if you're going to have any hope of creating the exact experience that you want to have on this journey and in your life, we got to tackle the hard questions. And the reality is the question that we are going to be addressing in this week's episode is one that I think it comes up more often than not, especially if you're a mom looking to be a first-time mom, or you're maybe in a second marriage or whatever, but you're trying to be a mom in your 40s. Like, chances are your partner is likely to have been married once before or maybe have children from past relationships. So this question of baby mama drama comes up all the time. And I think it's really important because when we are on a journey that is inherently uncertain, the more we can tell ourselves the truth about what's really going on, the better we position ourselves to have the kind of mindset it takes to get and stay pregnant, have the kind of resilience that's required to live this journey, especially when you might have pre-existing conditions, experiences, or the numbers are stacked against you for myriad reasons. But baby mama drama is real. And I see this day in and day out in my coaching practice. I see women laboring under this all the time. And they aren't really being honest with themselves about the degree to which this is impacting them. So I thought it would be great for us to get into the topic here a little bit, really explore it from a very foundational level. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're in a relationship with a man who has a family from either a previous relationship or previous marriage, I think this is something that you legit should be taking a look at. So, and look, this episode is going to be relatively short. The point of this is not necessarily to cover this topic in an exhaustive fashion, but to get you started in thinking about this in a different way. Because look, our mind and body are connected. You cannot physiologically separate your mind from your body. So what's going on up here is manifesting here, ladies. It's in your body. And if you have stuck energy around your partner's ex, if you have stuck energy about your partner's children, or if you have stuck energy having to do with anything coming from your partner's past, chances are it's going to show up here. Okay. And I know that, there may be some of you listening to this is saying, oh, I knew my partner's fucked up family is the reason why I'm not getting pregnant. No. None of what I'm going to be sharing here is at all about maligning your partner's children or his exes or any of that. It's really about putting the authority back in your hands as a woman who is creating her experience. Okay. If this is new to you, newsflash, we are all creating the experience that we're having. Okay. You can line up a bunch of different women who are living this journey. They're going to have a bunch of different experiences. So what's the common denominator? Us. Okay. So you can meet some woman that's like, this is the best time of my life. Everyone's probably going to think she's fucking nuts. But you could legit, and that's what my ladies do, take control of your mindset and start to say, hey, this journey is a gift and all that good stuff. So all I'm, really saying here by mentioning that is really bringing your attention to the fact that we have the power to create our own experience in any situation, because you can have somebody experience somebody else's children from another relationship or marriage and there's no friction. Okay. There's a typical friction in any relationship, but it's not baby mama drama, right? So if that's possible, that means basically any scenario is possible if our mind is set up correctly on this subject. But we're going to zero in very narrowly here and at a foundational level of baby mama drama. Okay, what is going on for you as you're living this journey, especially if you've got some drama because your partner has a baby mama? Okay, so the first step in all of this, as you are beginning to get a hold of this topic, and look, even if you don't have baby mama drama, let's say if your partner, this is their first relationship where they really want to have a family, well, this is good for you as well, because what I'm really going to be shaping here is a way of looking at your circumstances in a way that keeps you at the forefront. Okay, so even if this is not manifesting for you as a baby mama, I still think that you're going to take some really good stuff away from this. So don't let the title baby mama like distract you. Stay for the lesson, okay? Because the lesson has universal application. But the first thing is if you have drama in your life because your partner has a baby mama, you have got to be incredibly honest with yourself that this is happening, okay? And you might be thinking, duh, Roseanne, like I'm listening to this episode and this is all you got for me. But look, part of our ability to transform any situation on our journey is our ability to accurately and truthfully recognize what the problem is. Okay, what is the thing that's stuck in our craw, right? I'm guessing that if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a pretty good person and you would never hate a bunch of little kids, right? Not like that. You're just not like that, okay? It's really easy to get it twisted about what the real issue is. The issue is not your partner's children, okay? There's drama that is completely separate of them. They give the drama context, that's for sure. But these are little human beings. They're kids, okay? They're not just out to get you. And unquestionably, there's going to be somebody listening to this and say, oh, you don't know my man's kids. So just suspend that argument for a moment as we go over this initial part here. You've got to recognize that this is happening for you, okay? And I know that sometimes when we are zeroing in on issues in our relationship, it can feel very disconcerting because it can cause you to second guess your choice. You know, it can have you go down a dark road that, you know, this is never going to change until they're 18 and out of the house, or, you know, you could start to spiral really quickly. So the first thing you have to do is just say, look, I recognize I've got some drama right now because of my man's baby mama or my partner's baby mama. And whether or not she is actually the issue, we're not going to deal with that here, okay? That could be a whole series. But you want to just recognize that this is a problem. And I know, like I was starting to say earlier, some women don't even want to approach this because the idea that there is a legit problem going on, like voicing that, can really cause them to panic and really start to question the longevity of their relationship, question their choices, like, how did I get here? But for our purposes here, just recognize, you know, you might say something to yourself like, my name is Roseanne Austin and I have baby mama drama. Right. I don't have baby mama drama because I got like, sorry, ladies, I got a little lucky. My man didn't have any kids. And I say lucky kind of tongue in cheek because I don't think that it really matters. You know, there are certainly complexities if your partner has kids, but, you know, as I'm going to be discussing here, you have a choice. That doesn't have to be complex. You can create any experience you want. But in my scenario, that was not our issue. But once you recognize this and you can tell yourself the truth that this is going on, then there's a modicum of peace that can enter the room because you are seeing you and recognizing for yourself that the situation is not ideal. And a lot of times when we feel like we're lost in the mix of our partner's past or their situation, it can really feel overwhelming and frankly lonely because we feel like we have to be addressing their issue and we're not recognizing our pain within that context. So just recognize that you have this issue. I have baby mama drama. Okay, period. You don't need to tell any stories about that. You don't need to go into victimhood. You don't need to do any of that. Simply recognize that this is a problem, okay? Or this is an issue. If you don't want to use the word problem, knock yourself out. This is simply an issue, all right? The second thing is you want to ask yourself, to what degree am I putting pressure on this baby to get his attention and solidify us as an independent, legitimate family? Okay, let me break that down because that was a lot. That's very lawyerly. But I think this is important because once we recognize that we're in a situation where it feels like we're getting lost in the mix, or there's drama going on between your partner and their ex over the kids, or maybe you hate having the kids over, not because you hate kids, but because of the way that you live when the kids are there at your place, like it can create a scenario where some women, and no shame in this, like no shame, but some women can go off into a ditch and start telling themselves, well, this wouldn't be happening if we had our own baby, right? If we had our baby, then his attention would be on us. And I would have just as much of a vote in all of this as baby mama and the kids, right? I don't think that this is ridiculous. I think the reality is in a lot of ways, we put incredible pressure on ourselves to get the attention back over on us. And that's not a bad thing, right? Like you're with your partner because you want to create a life. You guys want to have a baby together. You want to expand your family. All of that is completely reasonable. But where this really starts to get unreasonable is when you, as the next partner or wife number 2, 3, or 4, wherever you land in that mix, where you are saying to yourself, I need to hurry up and have this baby because that will solidify us as a legit family. And he'll start choosing us over them. Not only does that create a ton of pressure on you, it's not exactly the motivation that you want to have when you're struggling to conceive. Think about that. When you are not succeeding in getting and staying pregnant and you're carrying this intense need, like the survival of my family, my ability to be loved by this man, my ability to get attention from this man is all hinging on this new baby coming. Whoo, girl. Think about that. Think about that constructively. That doesn't even sound like it makes sense. It's, but I get the impulse, okay? No judgment on you if you catch yourself feeling this way. No judgment. But can you see the incredible amount of pressure and distraction, pain and misery you start to put yourself in, and also this baby, this little soul that is out there in the world that you feel so called to bring into the world? Like, is that the kind of pressure that you want them to come into this life with? I mean, come on. And not only that, but think about what's underneath all that. It's fear. It's fear, it's lack, it's scarcity, it's, fear over abandonment, fear of not getting enough attention, fear of being not lovable. Like it's this whole constellation of core wounds that we can find ourselves wrestling with that we think we're going to fix by having this baby. Now, again, I'm saying this again because there's a part of you that can be like going off and getting distracted and thinking that this is judgment. It's really not. The intention here is to have a very honest, evocative conversation about this topic. It's okay if you feel this way. Now, chances are you don't want to feel that way for long. Once you recognize this in your life, the point of recognizing this is to recognize that you are looking for a solution outside of yourself to a problem. And that really, like, you're trying to solve the problem with something that shouldn't be part of the problem. Like, really think about this. You want to bring this baby in with clean energy, just full of love, so welcomed into this family, as opposed to some kind of a weapon, right? I'm going to get his attention back and I'm going to shut those other kids up because we have a new baby. Like, ugh. Just even saying that feels gross. Like, I bet it feels kind of gross to you too. If those thoughts came across your mind or have come across your mind on multiple occasions, again, there is nothing wrong with that per se. The point of this is to recognize that those things exist and understand what's underneath them. Fear, all kinds of lack and scarcity, competition, not enoughness, maybe some feelings of unworthiness, whatever the case may be, that's not the energy that you want behind calling this child in. Okay. So the whole point in this second step. So first of all, you recognize you have this problem. The second thing is to understand the degree to which you're putting pressure on this baby to legitimize your relationship, legitimize your partner choosing you over his other family at times, and to put yourself in the running. Because I think the other thing that happens is some women who are in this scenario think that they're selfish because they want to be chosen over the family, right? And even saying that probably feels really gross, right? Like, oh, it's me or them. Like, look, the best relationships are ones that seek a real win-win, okay? And are not based on stories and lies, okay? So you want to give yourself the best possible situation, especially when you're struggling to get and stay pregnant. Like, you want to give yourself the best possible chance of having the cleanest energy around conceiving this baby. Because if you're just wanting to call in this baby to ameliorate problems with baby mama, the pressure is going to be intense and even worse. Ooh, I'm going to really go there. Okay. Even worse, baby mama is going to pick up on that. Oh my gosh. Like, if you're at all in competition with baby mama and she gets one whiff that you're struggling to get and stay pregnant, ooh, that like opens you up for so much more pain and misery. I'm not saying that baby mama is like an evil human, but we're women, ladies, we're women. We can get rare. And so you've got to control your energy. You've got to control your energy because your energy is how you influence. Your energy is how you're calling this baby in. So don't have any stanky energy around this baby. That fear-based, competition-based, I've got to keep up with her and she's better than me because she's got 3 kids with him. You know, whatever the case may be, please clean up that mess. Okay? By beginning to recognize the degree to which you're putting pressure on this baby to fix what's going on here. Okay? I say that with so much love. I say that with so much respect. It needs to be said. Okay? Especially in a forum like this where there is no judgment. There is only you getting more and more clear about what's really going on so you can relieve some of the pressure. Because the other part of this is once you recognize the kind of pressure that you are putting on yourself for these reasons, and you're not lying to yourself about that, you can move on to step number 3, which is asking yourself and frankly deciding how you want to be instead. Okay. So instead of being caught up in baby mama drama because your man has a baby mama and has some kids, you know, how do you want to be instead? How do you want to show up to your fertility journey? Do you want to be the woman who's struggling to get and stay pregnant because she's trying to compete with a ghost of wife or girlfriend past? Do you really want that? Or do you want to be the woman who's standing in her own power, standing in her own lovableness? I know that's not a word, but you get where I'm going. Like, who believes that she's lovable on her own, understands in a very expansive way that your partner's children from another marriage or relationship have nothing to do with you, or you being lovable, or you being chosen, or you being prioritized. Those kids have nothing to do with that. You really want to be the woman that stands in her own power. And that starts with you deciding who you want to be in this process. I have watched women heal this part of their lives and utterly transform their results on their journey. This is all about mindset. This is all about the stories that we tell ourselves. And if you're living by the folklore that you come second, or you buy into the victimy notion that you come second, or you will always be chosen last compared to his children, like, you're going to find yourself always at odds. You're going to find yourself isolated and feeling alone, when chances are that's not the case at all. Okay. And I know you listening to this, you're probably thinking you have 75 examples of how, he always chooses you second and all this other stuff. Well, then the other question that needs to be brought as like a gold star extra credit is, why did you choose him? Think about that. If you knew that he had kids and you knew he had a baby mama or an ex-wife or whatever the case may be, why did you choose him? Interesting. I think your answer to that could be very telling. So I really hope that us beginning to play with this topic in a non-judgmental, totally straightforward, very open way is going to whet your appetite for getting to deeper answers that can position you to have better relationships with your partner's family. Maybe this is a topic that, I don't know, maybe you want to listen to this episode with your partner and see if this can spark some great conversation. Because at the end of the day, your baby is at a high frequency of love, possibility, expansiveness, no limitation. But at the core of it, it's all love. So you want to ask yourself, am I leading on my journey from love, or am I leading with competition, lack, scarcity? Let me be the center of attention. Let me finally catch a break. And this baby's going to help me, finally be amongst the list of priorities. That's a very different place to be than a place of love. So I hope this sparks some really thoughtful consideration for you, mama. And if you find yourself in a place where you keep circling the drain with this, my Fearlessly Fertile Method programs are for women who intend to get pregnant in the next 12 months and say hell yes to covering their bases, mind and body. Because your mind and your body cannot be separated physiologically. You want these two things, mind and body, working together, baby. The data is out there. Women who think, believe, and take action like women who succeed on this journey, they position themselves for insane success. We got over 300 podcast episodes demonstrating that fact. So go to my website, www.frommaybe2baby.com, and apply for an interview there. My methodology has helped women around the world make their mom dreams come true. Their results speak for themselves. And if you don't have a mindset for success in this journey, baby, you've got a gaping hole in your strategy. Let's fix that shit and set you up for success. Till next time, change your mindset, change your results.
Love this episode of the Fearlessly Fertile podcast? Subscribe now and leave an awesome review. Remember, the desire in your heart to be a mom is there because it was meant for you. When it comes to your dreams, keep saying hell yes.